Hello, hello. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so this is going to be one of our love tarot stories. We'll see where the story goes. It'll possibly be a love story. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it walks around the topic of love, but we shall see. Each time it's a little different. So, Five of Swords upright starts us out with conflict, starts us out with somebody wanting to win, starts us out with sometimes very harsh energy, but we see the skeleton is climbing up from the grave. So to me, this speaks of a very troubled, very silent energy, but something's coming back. Now, this could be unexpected. This could be, a character had no knowledge that somebody was thinking about them and that person could show back up. Or it could be a thought unexpectedly intrudes. Sometimes you smell something, you hear a song, and you're just right back in that place again. It's like, wow, did that ever just intrude? That person I haven't talked to, that person I had a bad ending with, but God, that song just reminds me of them. Or, that sunset that I drove down that one road and I totally forgot that road reminds me of them. Hi everyone, great to see you guys. This could also be that an unexpected, because the skeleton's busting in on us in this card, I would say it could be like, sometimes like your phone will do the little, it'll bring up, like mine just did this to me today. It's like, like a collage of all the different photos that I've taken. And it came from like 3 years and onward. And, and it's just a random mishmash. It's not like your phone knows which ones you like or wouldn't want to see again. I got to see old pictures of my baby. Crystal Suzanne, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so, so much. Crystal Suzanne, you have donated and gifted so many memberships. Thank you, honey. And thank you so much, Natalie D. And welcome, Don G. Crystal Suzanne just gifted you a membership. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, honey. I'll say hi to everybody properly at the end also. Okay, what's interesting about this, oh my gosh, Crystal Suzanne, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you again and again. You're so generous. It seems like what's coming through for a person is a little unwelcome because unfortunately it's bringing up the best memory. And it's like, wow, we've had a blockage. It was, it ended with maybe an argument, a standoff. And now it's popping up into my head, is busting into my world. And it's what I remember is the good. I remember the happiness. I remember the awesomeness. Now, here's the thing. This could be somebody remembering her. This could be somebody who had a child with her. It's like, oh my God, she was my mermaid and I made a little mermaid with her. She was my 10 of cups. That was my happy family. And I remember them walking away from me. I remember our argument. I remember that this ended. This could be, a flood of memories that come in for this character about, in this case, the happiness that they had with her. It might just be hitting them. I was supposed to have that happiness with her. I did enjoy it once upon a time. Okay, so obviously something went wrong. But first, let me ask this. Why is a skeleton climbing up out of nowhere? There's some song, ain't it funny how a melody brings back a memory. I can't think of who sings that right now. Got an Ace of Wands. We have a Queen of Pentacles. I said, why is this, shaking them? I don't know if there's something about this time of the year. This kind of looks, autumnal colors, and we're, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we're moving into autumn. Maybe somebody sees a bouquet of roses and they remember that they gave her roses once upon a time. Their mermaid might have been a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, but there is an element of, they remember, like they're flooded with passion all of a sudden. And they remember maybe she gave them a gift, and they come across that gift, or they remember that gift. She even holds, this pentacle that's like glowing in her hands. She's very special. Here she's like a fairy, and here she's a mermaid. So she's very much mystical, very much, there's something so sparkly, so beautiful about her. And they are having a flood of passion and desire, but I feel like one of the memories it sparks could have something to do with roses, could have something to do with a certain time of the year, or could have something to do with another like token gift or something that she gave to them that they stumble across. She gave them a lot, even if there's, I mean, she gave them a lot of energy, and that's the thing that they're really remembering. I don't know, somebody made somebody eggs and they really like their eggs with like spicy sauce on it. I just say that because the sun is shaped like an egg up there, and I just noticed that for the first time ever. And this looks like sprinkles of Tabasco or something on the eggs. We also have like a salamander, but that part doesn't stand out to me so much. It's just I kind of only go with what is like yelling at me in the cards, the images that stand out to me. This feels like they are very overwhelmed all of a sudden. Even though supposedly this was over and in the grave, this relationship was dead and gone, and it ended on a bad note, and it ended with a stubborn need to win and silence. Why then are they flooded with all this love? Why then are they flooded with desire? Why then are they thinking all these sweet thoughts of her? Because obviously there were a lot of really sweet thoughts. I mean, this was their 10 of Cups, and she's a pretty special person and was generous with them too, and they know all that about her. So now let me ask then, what was the conflict about? What was it that ended this? Because that doesn't make sense. We've got the Knight of Cups, we've got the Page of Cups, we got the Six of Cups. I said, what ended this? There's the Mermaid again. They saw her as their forever person. They offered something. I mean, this is them moving forward. They did pursue her, but then it's almost like weirdly things got like downshifted. I don't know if they had to say, but I'm sorry. I mean, like I've come towards you, but I'm sorry because there's another soulmate out there. You know, soulmates to me, there's always like, it's the group of souls that we reincarnate with. Not even sure that I believe in reincarnation, but I think it's a nice idea. I just don't know that I'm really on board with it because there's a lot of questions I have about it. But I like to entertain all the different concepts, right? I'm a writer, so my storytelling can encompass anything. But in this story, I said, what went wrong here? And it says they had to say sorry after they had been pursuing her. And then we have the soulmate card, which is usually a returning soulmate. Did they either, soulmates don't have to be romantic, but this could be somebody that they needed to reconnect with for some reason, or they believed that they did. And so it was like, hey, I'm sorry. This is very much like they went to their mermaid and they gave this little pathetic, I'm sorry, I call it pathetic because of what I mean is it's pitiful. It's tiny is what I mean. That's the way I'm using that term. I don't mean they're pathetic. I'm saying it's this little teeny tiny sippy cup. Like, hey, I'm really sorry. I can't do this with you. But it's because they went and they dealt with some soulmate. So Juanita, thank you so much, honey. Thank you. You're so generous. Thank you always. We have a Five of Cups and we have this card of hope. It's almost like they said, I'm really sorry I can't do this with you. I know I've moved towards you. I know I entered into your world. I wanted to be a part of your world. I wanted to, go 20,000 leagues under the sea and be with you and ride a seahorse, and we were going to be together forever. And I said all that to you, and I'm really sorry, but it turns out I got to go be with this soulmate. They were devastated over this, and I don't really know that they said it in plain terms, but for whatever reason, something here happened with something from the past. Maybe it's somebody they owed a debt to. Maybe it's somebody they realized they couldn't let go of. They couldn't leave. They couldn't, release for whatever reason. They say that they were devastated and they always held on to some hope somehow that it would all be okay. But it says that they ended with a big fight and silence and awfulness. And that was a desire to win. That was mean. So how did it get mean? Because the Five of Swords is not nice. Three of Pentacles, well, the Three of Pentacles might have been her saying, so wait a minute. You tell me I'm your everything, blah, 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 blah. We're going to be together forever. Seahorses mate for life. You sold me this bill of goods, and then you flip like a hamburger on a grill and tell me you can walk away and because you've got to go do something with somebody else, but you're real sad about it. I don't know if they said that they were real sad. I think that this was some very insignificant look. She wasn't buying it. Whatever their apology was, it might not even been a truth, because her eyes are real big here. Almost like I can literally see through you. And maybe that's why they're this itty bitty fish in the cup, because it's like, I know my words aren't making any sense to her. I hope she'll forgive me someday, but I have to do this other thing. I have to. And she might have point blank said, you got somebody else, is what you got. You've been playing the field all this time. You tried to get with me, and you knew darn well you had somebody else you were still cooperating with. So this was a third party that you put me in. She might have said it, and that might have been where it got mean. Not mean necessarily, but truthful, maybe. And it might have been like, this is normally a good card, but it all depends. If this comes out to clarify why did this end with an ugliness and such a, silence and cutting, and this is the answer, then I can't interpret this nice. Ooh, character. What on earth? No wonder you made her feel like that. Plus, you came in with this itty bitty explanation that I think was inadequate. So it felt more disrespectful. It made them look like they had intentionally been a liar. Now, they felt awful. That is one thing, but I don't think she cares. She doesn't care how they feel, because they were in control of their actions, and they did something only to then reverse direction. And them hoping someday she'll forgive them, is they shouldn't have done this in the first place, is kind of the way this looks. Now, that's what we have for the cards so far. Everything in our stories, we have to look at the whys, and we have to look at the motives, and we have to look, because sometimes awful things happen and that was never the intention, and there's a lot of gray area. But I'm just trying to figure out, why did things end ugly? That's why. Because she says, so all this time, this was a plan. You brought me in. You told me a bill of goods. You said you love me, but you actually love somebody else. You have what, another life, another partner, and then you wanted to pretend future fake with me, a partnership. I can see why that would have gotten ugly. Okay, so tell me about the Six of Cups. In fact, let's rephrase that. Let's let them explain. Why did you go to a Six of Cups? What was the Six of Cups? Because it does not have to be another person, but we do have a Queen of Wands. And this Queen of Wands has an interesting thing, because she's got a mask that she holds out away from her as well. And it's like she needed protection and shelter somehow. I don't know if they got pulled back in to help out an ex or something, and they decided that they needed to help somebody from their past more than they should have been, with this new person that they were building with and had given these words of love to. We have the Sun, we have the Emperor. I mean, this looks like it was somebody that they were very clear, because they had married this person, that this was still their responsibility. Then why were you dealing with the mermaid? Excuse me. Why did you think you could deal with the mermaid at all? Four of Cups in the reverse, Eight of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so they thought that they somehow were free. They did think that. This says, I wasn't dealing with my ex. I thought I was done with that. I didn't think that they were my responsibility anymore. Yes, I had been married to them, but I didn't know that even if you divorce, it comes with a lifelong clause. I didn't realize if they had problems, I would somehow I would never be free. I would never not have to be responsible and step into some role to give them the support that they needed. Something happened with an ex. That's what this fictional story, please remember they are fictional, but even here that she's, cloaked in, these wings, and like I just don't know that she was legit. This could have been, she's playing a game. The helpless damsel in distress, knowing full well she can basically, pull on their leash and be like, no one's around to help me, so it has to be you, because I know we're not together now, but you did marry me at one point, so, it would be a horrible thing for you not to come to my aid, because, there will always be some kind of responsibility that you have toward me. I disagree with that, but they said they thought that they were free. I don't think in this storyline they did not set up to create this third party scenario. They said, I thought I was free. Eight of Swords in the reverse. I wasn't hung up on an ex. I wasn't dealing with an ex. I wasn't pining for an ex. I didn't want to go back to them. I didn't have an illusion. I really believed I was free. And then I got reeled back in, and they pulled on my leash with the words that I can't ignore, which is, but you were married to me. You were responsible for me. Apparently for all time. It's certainly how she sees it. And for whatever reason, let me ask this though. Character, why did you, I can understand that kind of, even though I don't agree with it, I can comprehend it. But where was your responsibility or loyalty to the Queen of Pentacles? Why did you so easily just be like, okay, so hey, sorry, like how do you not have, if you have such a pull toward this honor and this but I must, how come you didn't have any of that to the words that you'd already spoken to somebody else that you supposedly really meant? Sorry, I'm putting them in the hot seat. Sassy Kate is here putting them in the freaking hot seat. Four of Wands, because in their mind it's about marriage. I'm sorry. They said, well, I wanted to have that with them, but the question mark was, who did I owe the bigger loyalty to? You notice these two have not actually bonded. They didn't marry her yet. They weren't married to that Queen of Pentacles. So they, in their mind, this person, man, they have no problem using this clinical approach. This is like, when I'm like when creeping, like AI systems dehumanize everything and turn it into like, well, this is the data. And it's like, but your data is not right. You collected information, but without a human to actually interpret it and actually place it in the right categories and actually compare the right aspects. All you got was senseless data, and you're getting the wrong results. You still have to be able to interpret. You still have to be able to put things in the right category. This character had a way to say, well, I collected the data. I had been married to her, therefore somehow I'm always responsible. And I wasn't married to the other one, even though I told her all these words of love, and she was my 10 of cups and she was my mermaid, and I made these promises and I moved toward her and said, we're going to be together forever. But we didn't marry. See, we weren't really together. We had only talked about it, but we didn't actually make it to the altar. So therefore, this is where my loyalty is. And the reason I'm harping on this is because that's crap. I'm sorry. Ooh, I'm fired up. Sassy Kate's in the house tonight. I feel like they are making decisions that you could say on paper, sure, that's true, but was it right? What is the right choice? Now, granted, I'm asking this character, I'm really, grilling them right now. Do you think you did the right thing, character? Maybe that's the best thing to ask, because I can see what they did. We can even argue why they did it, but was it right? Was it right to do that to the other person? What would have been the right choice? Like, I don't know, right? So we have 9 of Pentacles. They said, this is their answer to that. My question of, really, do you think that's right? Their argument was, but, oh my gosh, this is a hard one for me to say out loud. Their answer, from my interpretation on this, is that they said, but the Queen of Pentacles had been single and had a wonderful life prior to me meeting her. I hadn't been married to her. I was building a relationship with her. I loved her. I told her I loved her. We made plans, but I was pursuing her. I was dating her. I was a Knight of Cups in her world. I had not married her yet. I only told her that I wanted to. But prior to her meeting me, she had a great life. She was single. She was in red, gorgeous dresses. She's sexy. She's so attractive. She's got her money. She's got her job. She had a whole life before I met her. And I barely started dating her. Or I shouldn't say barely, because if you're saying all these things of love and you're coming in as somebody who's saying she's my mermaid, she's my 10 of cups, she's my great happiness, and she's the person that, I came in riding a seahorse, that is a promise of love for forever. they talked about weddings also in this story because of that card. But he's still saying, he, she, doesn't matter. He's still saying, but she had been single and abundant, and she has a great life. She had one before she met me. The Hermit. She's good, solid. She knows how to be single and be alone. She's somebody who has a powerful backbone. I know she's really good alone. I know that her tree of life will grow and grow and grow. She doesn't even need anybody to protect her. That's a load of crap, but she doesn't need somebody. She's good. She's the most, self-sufficient person I've ever met. And she's deeply intuitive. So this is actually my Two of Cups merged with a Hermit card. I always look at it that way in this deck because she looks into like the world that is on the other side. They see her as otherworldly and very special anyway and deeply intuitive. But they also say, but she knows how to read situations. She even knows how to read me and my energy. And somehow, some way, she'll still know that it's her that I love. She'll feel my presence anyway, but she was already single before she met me and had an amazing life, and she'll always have an amazing life. King of Wands, Knight of Cups. And there's never going to be a time when I don't love her, and somehow I can still basically live in the dream world and still stay connected to her in the 5D. This character drives me nuts. What a huge trespass. I'm sorry. I will not accept this as an acceptable answer. I will not. This is there. Look at this card. They're basically saying, poor me, I love her so much, but she's so good without me anyway. I don't really owe her because logically I know her, but I wanted to. But she's really good and stands on her own 2 feet anyway, so I really don't have to worry about her so much. But I'm the one who's super passionate about her, and I'll just hold on to her in a 5D connection. And in fact, she'll nurture me in the 5D. You notice that we have this ghost laying here, and then we have this feminine who, in the night, comes to them and offers them a cup of sweet nectar. And again, this is them saying, I'm still going to court her in my mind. I'm still going to be that Knight of Cups. I'm still want her, and I'll still be connected to her. Even though I'm not there to protect her, I'm not there to give her anything. I don't even consider her in the same way that I consider my ex. I don't give her the loyalty. I don't give her the respect. I don't give her the consideration, but I really love her. But I'll hold on to her in that 5D realm. And then she'll make me feel better when I hold on to her in the thought space in the 5D. Oh, character, you have messed this one up badly. I am not letting them off the hook on this one because it is so... it's understandable how their mind worked, but it just feels so like they're taking, to me anyway, this feels like a character, okay, to their credit, they see her as somebody powerful, somebody with a backbone, somebody who can stand on her own 2 feet. Well, she damn sure better be able to, because they sure aren't there to follow up with any of the things, the promises that they made. It feels like this person takes an awful lot for granted and assumes an awful lot about how little they I'll say what a small amount of integrity they needed to have toward her. They gave their integrity, if you want to call it that, to a previous connection, and they took from another person who they thought was stronger. And they felt like, yeah, but I love her, but I don't see how this is love. I see this as self-serving. And I see them as loving her, but in a very self-serving manner. And I know they think that they've respected her by saying, but I know how strong she is. But I didn't marry her, so I can't give her the same loyalty. See, I think that this person is like a robot, is the way I would describe this. If they think that this is more duty-bound and more honorable, I would really call that into question. Now, I don't know what the right answer is, though. But we have this interesting and difficult storyline to describe a character's thought processes. This is if I were writing this character, it would be a really fun one because there would be I would really have to think about how to describe this character because they are complicated and they think that they're doing the right thing. But I would say it's only the right thing if you can be a robot and if you can justify doing the wrong thing and still say, but on paper it was right. What do they think that their ex needed from them? Oh, I'm sorry, this one is so it's It's bugging me. Um, so their ex needed a new beginning. Their ex needed, I don't know if their ex said, but I want to start over with you. That doesn't make sense. Their ex needed shelter. They needed something. Maybe they said, I need to get back on my feet and you have to help me. Maybe they lost a job. Maybe they lost a place to live. Maybe it was like, I don't have anything right now. So you're the only person I can turn to. And we used to be married. So I need to live with you until I can get my feet back under me. They thought that the ex needed a new beginning. Ace of Swords in the reverse. What's interesting is they also thought, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to sever this connection. I can't. Why did you think that? Why are you so wrapped around the ex's finger? We've got the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. And hang on, I mean, there could be like, well, I can't ignore the time of need for my child's mother. And I'm just saying mother because she came across as a feminine, as a Queen of Wands. This could be that they said, my child will never speak to me again if I ignore their mother. Okay, that's a lot more understandable because the pages can be children and this is about communication. So I kind of feel like there was added pressure put on them. So let me ask this, character, are you still of the opinion that you made the right decision? I'm sorry, this is so uncomfortable. This is the most uncomfortable story I've ever had. Four of Swords. When I say, do you still think that you made the right choice? Four of Swords is going into silence. This is them in that 5D space. They know that mermaid, their 10 of Cups, who I think ended things with a real sharp reality of, you liar, you put me in a third party. You had somebody else. You weren't single. That's not untrue because if they could get reeled back in so swiftly, even though they said, no, I thought I was single, I think the realization hit her that you couldn't have actually been single in body, mind, soul, and heart, or you wouldn't be doing this now. So you always knew somehow that you weren't single. Now, she's of a pretty poor opinion of them from what I can tell. But they're realizing their thought of, well, she's really strong. She'll be okay without me. And anyway, I still love her and I'll visit her somewhere in that 5D realm. I don't think that's worked out. When I say, do you still think that you made the right decision? What I think they are realizing is what they imagined was going to happen. I love her. I'll visit her in the 5D. I'll still be attached to her, the woman that I want. And she'll make me feel good when I dream of her, or maybe more than that. Maybe I'll try to still see her on the sly at some point in time. Maybe I'll do something like that. Maybe I'll find a way, I just know I can still feel her energy. Well, they can't feel her energy anymore. So when I say, do you think you made the right choice? Look at how different this is. I can't find her. She didn't come to give me sweet nectar and to still love on me in the 5D realm. Now it's a pretty lonely, cold place. Four of Swords is your mermaid probably had to go and heal the betrayal. Now we didn't see a heartbreak on this though, actually. But sometimes that Four of Swords, because it's a deep healing that has to happen. And what do we have to do deep healing from? Usually a Three of Swords, and then we bring in that fourth sword and there's finally some balance and we finally get some peace, and it's when we listen to the universe and we get back to building our tree of life and we get back to focusing on living a good life. And I kind of think that they're realizing that because this is her and this is her laying here, I think that it's starting to click. That was probably the worst decision they could have ever made for how they would have treated another person. And because I think they let it stand, I think that they said their little pitiful sorry. And she's looking at him with those big old eyes and she's calling him out on this and calling him out in a pretty harsh way and saying, I don't ever want to talk to you again for your third party activities that you knowingly and willingly put me through. And they've just been so sad and hoping someday she'll forgive them. And I think they're realizing that's not how that works. You do things and then you get a reputation for the thing you did, and then that's how somebody sees you. So it's didn't work out the way they thought, that somehow they would still be latched into her life while dishonoring her in order to give honor to a different person so that they didn't piss off a kid. That's really understandable that they would not want to do something that would make them look bad in front of that page, though. This person, in all fairness, they are between a rock and a hard place. But unfortunately, they chose who the casualty would be. And I think that they could have handled this better. I think that's the part that's like, wow, this is so not right, because they definitely should have handled this in a whole different way, is what it seems like to me, if they were all about honor. Instead, I think that they took the route that worked the best for them so that they would not irritate the page or make the page think poorly of them. They had no problem bouncing back to save the ex, the damsel in distress. And they decided the strongest person out of this is the one that I love the most, but the one who can stand on her own 2 feet. So I'm going to give her the shortest end of the stick. When in fact, you should reverse it and say, that's the person I most should be giving my energy to. She's my 10 of cups. She's, my forever person. And she's the one that I told all that to. So I think that they made a wrong choice here. I don't know. You all weigh in. But I can also see why they would have made it. This is such a hard story to tell because there's so much to it. That is 30 minutes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We have the moon. They have no idea what's going on with her. They have no idea where she is. They have no idea. She is hidden completely away from them. But remember, this storyline began with them being flooded by this memory of her, flooded by this memory of, she is my 10 of cups. She is, suddenly they have all this burst of passion for her. They're thinking all about her. They've come across something that she gave to them. So let me ask this from the universe now. Let's get Kate out of the grilling seat mode and let's go. I'm sorry, I try to do a deep dive on my stories. I try to find where this all stems from, because I think it's the only way to tell a compelling story. Universe, what would you say? You know what? I'm not going to use that deck for the universe tonight. Actually, I want this one. What would the universe say to, I'll say, our mermaid? What would the universe say to our mermaid right now? 3 of Cups. Get thee to a fancy dinner and date the hell out of all the sexy people you are interested in. Don't be alone. Get out there and date. Get out there and have a wonderful time. Have fine dining. Have an amazing time. Call in for yourself the kind of amazing relationship. This person did not give her an amazing relationship. So don't get hung up on, yeah, but they told me they loved me. They gave me roses once. They wanted me. They did, and they still do, and they always will. But give yourself options, mermaid. Because there's other people that not only will love you and treat you amazing and take you to fancy restaurants and give you flowers, but they'll also be the real deal. They won't be somebody with a robotic skewed vision of what integrity looks like. I'm sorry, I do not like that character. I am not going to pretend that I do. The one thing that bugs me the most is when you can't have an opinion. And I have got an opinion all day. I got to not do these late at night when I'm like sassy. We have the magician though, and the universe says, call in an amazing person. The universe is even like, I'm watching you. I'm here. Just name it. Name what you're looking for, and I will send you some awesome options. People that will kiss you so sweet. People that will wine and dine you. People that will make you laugh. People that will love you right. Ask for it. Call it in. But don't sit by yourself. And definitely don't focus on them like they're the only fish in the sea. Because frankly, I don't think they were such a great catch. That's just my opinion. The universe didn't say that. That was totally sassy Kate tack on. Okay, so what's the universe's message for them? The Emperor who went back to the ex. Queen of Wands, 5 of Cups. Remember, this is who they went back to. And the universe says, so you went back to that Queen of Wands. And she's upright, so have you figured out yet that maybe that's what she wanted? Is to actually make you freaking miserable? Did you consider that maybe part of her happiness and maybe why she reeled you back in was on purpose because she was punishing you. I mean, she's upright, she's happy, but are you happy with the choices that you made? This big sacrifice that you made, is do you think that that was a good idea? I mean, the universe is kind of posing it to them. This is what you chose. Wherever you're at now, have you thought about why this happened? Have you thought about, I'm not saying she's a terrible villain. We don't know that. She might be a wonderful person, but this isn't where their happiness is. Once again, we see them as a 5 of cups. This is very unhappy. And I kind of think that the universe is just pointing that out. If you're miserable with a beautiful person, do you think that you're doing right by them? Or do they deserve to be with somebody who won't be miserable with them? Because this is an amazing person. Or she's an amazing person who also decided to have an axe to grind and say, I am amazing, but I would like to make sure that you suffer. I mean, she's not in the reverse, so I don't think she's a karmic. I just think that the universe is if anything, they might be posing it. Don't act like you're sacrificing in order and miserable in order to be with an amazing person. You're dishonoring them if you're being with them, but you're like, oh man, sucks so bad. Let them go be with somebody that actually treasures them. I don't. I just feel like this emperor has a really messed up idea of either what they think is a good thing to do or how to value people. You can help someone and not have to cut out everybody else in your life. You can still say, yeah, my ex needs some place to live, so I'm moving out and moving in with my mermaid because I have to financially help an ex because they're the mother or father of my child. There are some obligations I still have, but there are limits, and I'm also not going to let it ruin the rest of my life. And I'm also not going to go be with someone and support them that I don't want to give to when they need to move on with their life too. Offering people help when they need it is one thing, but forever staying trapped in something that you don't want just kind of seems like, I don't know, that's a big question that's being posed there, more for them by the universe. Like, if you're so miserable, why are you there? And if that queen is actually a great person, why are you there? We have the high priestess and we have the knight of coins. Oh, the universe is actually saying maybe deep down you didn't actually want to go. Maybe deep down you wanted to slow walk your exit from that ex. Is that really more of what it was? You're so sad, but deep down you weren't really ready to like stand on your own 2 feet. I'm wondering if this person, I mean, they said that they had to do it. They came across as an emperor, but either they know that their ex really didn't want to let them go and they wanted to slow them down. I do feel like for some reason the ex wanted to make sure that it wasn't over until they were done on their terms. I feel like there was a manipulation strategy, and I think that they know this. There's something here about one person or the other was not honest, is what I'm getting off of this collection of cards. So the ex is either happy, very happy with them being unhappy, maybe even feels like they deserve it for some reason because she's upright. So it doesn't look like she's toxic. But if she somehow says, yeah, they needed to be responsible, they don't just get to, maybe they weren't very responsible in the relationship at some point in time and they should have been. And so I'm going to make them stay responsible, until the child is fully grown or, something along those lines. There's an understanding deep down that they didn't either totally have a right to move on from this yet. And maybe they didn't, maybe legitimately they should not have been thinking they were single and footloose and fancy free. Even if they should have been, there was some other reason, some other energy that they still owed a debt to her somehow. And it's like, you couldn't have moved on yet anyway. You shouldn't have been out trying to cook something with some new person. It comes across as there was either a manipulation tactic or a deep down, it was understood. You're not done with this with me. I don't care how unhappy you are. That's your thing that you've got to stew in. And I'm not unhappy, but you might be. Tough luck for you. And it's kind of like they both knew this. The emperor knew this, and so did the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands, I don't know. I don't see her as wicked. I just see them as maybe somebody who wasn't ever honest with themselves about what the reality of their situation was and what debt they still owed. Okay, so let's ask universe, what's your message to the Queen of Wands? Two of Pentacles. This is pretty spot on for the way we've seen them. She knows that there's two versions of them. There's a version of them that is still helping her, supporting her. And then there's the other version of them of where they wish they were. And no matter what, both versions of them are aloof. They're barely on the planet. So if she's trying to decide what to do, I mean, honestly, I hope for her sake she lets them go. But I also got to say, for our mermaid's sake, I hope she doesn't take them back. I kind of feel like this storyline has been handled so, egregiously that there's maybe a lot of growth that needs to happen before this person would be able to be in a romance with anybody and give genuinely. It feels like let me go back to them for just a second. Instead of me talking, let me just see. 10 of Cups, the Tower, and the Sun. Okay, so I think instead of saying, because the Sun is it's a card of happiness, but first and foremost, it's a card of clarity. They need to get some clarity on, why did your 10 of Cups get ruined? Why did your 10 of Cups get taken away from you? Do you understand yet why that happened? And I think that boils down to what I've been saying all this time. And the reason I've been like nitpicking this to shreds, because I'm like, but their motives and their actions and their justifications, just all of it just kind of always sat wrong with me through this whole story. I know now it's like Kate's morality corner about what I think is okay. I don't mean to tell it like that, but the cards that we got told it like that. And yes, I have to be more theatrical as I tell stories, because that is the way I tell a story. Knight of Wands. Okay, so this is it. The universe has just plopped the like the big old steaming pile of dog poop truth. The truth of it is, this person was acting as a player. The truth of it is, they were bouncing back and forth. The truth of it is, they claimed they were honorable. They were an emperor who had to do the right thing. Bull. What you were is somebody that was still trying to, get something that you really wanted, that you were passionate about, but you didn't have the money to cash that check. They said, I thought I was single. I thought I was done with the ex. No, they weren't, though. Because if they got reeled back in that fast by, oh, but what would my kid think of me? What would my child think of me? My child would not speak to me anymore. Then they already knew what the result would be. Something about this says they were not actually who they claimed they were. They had their 10 of Cups taken away from them because the truth of it is, they were not, I hate to say the word worthy because then it sounds like such a judgment, but they were not worthy yet of having their 10 of Cups, because they were not in a place where they could have really made the decision to offer something real, to hold on to something real. They were too bouncy in their mindset. The Knight of Wands gets a bad rap for being a player. It's not what this character was. It's that their mind bounced back and forth. They could, I keep saying that they use this robotic method of deciding what the right choice would be. But I feel like their mind tried to get what they thought they could have, and they weren't really honest with themselves. But all the while, they're crying about the integrity, the right choice. But this says they know they weren't making the right choice. They were weighing and measuring and bouncing back and forth to see what would be the easiest choice. On one hand, what choice could they live with? What choice would be the thing that would somehow, I don't know. I do feel like Princess of Wands, we kind of keep shrinking them down. Now they've gone from, being an emperor, and now here we see them as a knight, and now we see them as just, in this deck, this is a page. We see them as very immature. Somebody who saw somebody that was beautiful and they wanted that beautiful person, and they wanted to pursue that romance. And they said that they were really single when I think that they were pretending to themselves that they didn't still have obligations that were going to pop up. I think they kind of did know that they have obligations, and I think they kind of did pretend that no, this is I'm really single. Maybe there was even something here about like the knight could sometimes be a traveler. If they thought that they could kind of have a relationship, I don't know, this always looks like it's Vegas or someplace out in a desert. If they thought maybe they could have this life over here with her, and then they could still be doing everything that they needed to every time that their ex, called upon them. This feels like in this really childlike mindset, they believed they could have it all when I think they kind of knew that they couldn't. A very tough storyline because that character has so much growth to do. 6 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. And the one thing that remains in all of this is that they have such a desire, I think, to actually have the relationship that they want, to give to the person that they want to give to have the life that they want to have. But I still think every time they either get sucked back in, because 10 of Coins can be the concept of family, who they want to give to over here with the 6 of Coins versus who they're going to give to. Because, but that was family. It almost feels like, I don't know. Again, this is about how do you give when you want to give to 2 different groups. I mean, I don't really think it should be that hard, frankly. You should be straightforward, you should be honest, and you should be able to say, this is what I give to the people that I may still have responsibilities for, but we're not married anymore, and I'm moving on, and I'm giving my loyalty to a person that I deeply love. They should be able to work that out, but I don't know that this person has figured that part out yet. That's why they crushed this, because they still were, I don't know, this feels like they couldn't seem to look at it with real truthful eyes and real truthful clarity. And so it cost them, I'm going to say it cost them the love of their life, because I think that's who that mermaid is. So final question on this then. Universe, for them to suddenly, we started out this story that is so long, but almost an hour ago, we started this trek down this storyland. And what we saw is they had a sudden, like, oh my God, the memory is climbing up out of the grave, and they are all this passion, and they are thinking so heavily about her, and they're realizing this was the woman they should have had a child with. This is their happiness. This is where they were supposed to be. Why that right now in this story? Why universe? Why that? 7 of Swords, because they're getting hit with the real truth that they have. I mean, I feel like this is, I'm surprised we don't have like a karmic justice card, because I feel like they are being faced with the lies that they told to her. Although the things that were true is that they did love her, and that they did want to be with her, and that she is their 10 of Cups. But they're being faced with the fact that you lied to the person you really loved, and you lied to yourself, and you're really good at lying as a whole. And that's got you where you are today. I feel like it's really sinking in for them right now. I lied to that person. I lied to her, somebody that gave to me, somebody that was true with me, somebody that is my happiness, someone that I've never been this passionate about anybody before. And she thinks so badly of me because I lied to her. And I think they finally are having it distilled down into the raw facts. I lied to her. That's what I did. Him, her, it doesn't matter. But it's like they're finally looking in the mirror, and they're seeing it just for the, all this time they were using logic, but never did they hit on the real logic and the real raw truth of, but you lied. You didn't tell her the truth. You didn't handle this right. This is a moment of change for them. The Death card is either they're accepting that they ruined this and they can't get back the person that they love most, and it's really hitting them hard of what they actually lost, or it's hitting them really hard and they're saying, this all has to change. I can't operate this way. What I've done, I see the magnitude of it. I see the mistakes I made. I see the way I handled this, and all this has to change. I have to make it change. I don't think they've ever taken real responsibility for things in the right way in this story, simply because of the way they rationalized and justified. That's probably my biggest indicator that I see in this story of why I don't believe that this character has made choices that were really fair or balanced. I also think that offering a teeny tiny sippy cup of a tiny apology, this doesn't look like an explanation. This just looks like the minimum of like, well, sorry. And then they were boo-hooing privately on their own about how sad they were that they were going to lose her, but it was entirely their choice to lose her. And they decided she's so strong, they didn't really need to worry about her, but they could still hold on to her in the 5D. All that just spoke of like, it reeked of improper justification and just the hope that she'll just forgive me. Mm, I that's probably the reason I didn't like this character and why I wasn't going to let up on the questioning, because I'm like, why is that okay? Why is that okay? We have the moon. They have a lot more thinking, a lot more growing, a lot more thought process that they're going to have to do. There's a lot more to the way they operate and them finding out why they do the things that they do. They have to go through probably a pretty big transformation, and it might be that they're going to have to start looking at their decisions and looking at their justification processes and looking at why they think they're an emperor when in fact they've kind of been revealed to be a page. Why they want to give to people but they don't give to the right situations, and they kind of have chosen pathways that they justified as being right when in fact it was maybe what was easiest for them. I do think that this character had this overblown idea of their maturity level, and they're starting to go down this dark night of the soul because they're actually starting to mature, is what I think. They're starting to see, why did I do that? Why I lied. I lied about all of this. I don't think that they knew themselves very well, but I do think that their emotions for her were real. I'm not going to say that this is like, oh, and then they're just going to get her back and it'll be happily ever after. They may not, but at least this has made enough of an impact for them that it's putting them through that dark night of the soul to start to realize, why did I do these things? With the moon here, they don't really have the answer to that. There is a reason. And for them, I mean, if we went on and on with this, we might find that they, were coerced in many ways into thinking, well, this is the rules that you have to live by. It doesn't matter if your heart says something else. You don't listen to your heart. You listen to what society will see. You are responsible for the person that once upon a time you were married to. Your loyalty is always first with whomever you've ever called family, even if they're not the right person for you. I mean, there could have been coercion. There could have been all kinds of things that set up their brain to where they could make such robotic decisions that were actually incorrect and completely disrespected not only their own heart, but the person that they loved. And I think that's part of their dark night of the soul in this. They're going to have to figure out, why did I do that? Because I'm looking at it now and I realize I've been kind of living a big lie and I lied to the person that I loved. So why did I do that? I don't think they even know. Not right now. I think they're only just now starting to, wow, 10 of Swords in the world. They're just now starting to think about these things. They're just now starting to mature. They're just now starting to insist that I'm not going to live this way anymore. Look, this person is they've hit rock bottom, but they're also pretty much at that point where they can finally start to look at their actions and to say, I need to live more consciously, maybe. I need to put a stop to the way I've been doing things, and I need to restart. I need to do things in a different way. I think I love when characters can go through. I mean, we just watch this person like live out a life saga, and we got to watch them go through their mistakes, go through their regrets, and we got to see them turn around and maybe see what would make a person who's made a lot of mistakes, who's followed, I don't know if they followed orders or what, but how do they finally maybe decide that this doesn't work? And when and how do they finally start to take stock of their actions and maybe start to think about living more authentically? And we basically, this is really the story of what led to someone's dark night of the soul, and that process that they're just now beginning to try to get their to wrap their head around what they need to do differently. Anyway, that was, oh my gosh. If I had done this one and it weren't live, I don't know if I would have released this video, just because it was so detailed, but that is somehow the way it goes. This was a roller coaster, and I love the fact that the universe said to the mermaid, date frequently, date others, have a wonderful time. There is great love, and manifest great love for yourself. I'm so glad that she wasn't kept waiting. I'm so glad that she has awesome dates on the horizon. Because this was tough, because they had a lot of growth to do. They really did love her, do love her. So I don't know what happens in from here on out, but when a character goes through a dark night of the soul like that, finally starts to find their authenticity, and we end with the world card, that Capricorn energy. I mean, that's a different way they're going to be looking at everything in their life and living their life. So pretty much anything is possible at the end of this story, including them returning to her or trying to live more authentically. So anyway, gosh, that was long, guys. Thank you, everybody who's here with me. Thank you so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Crystal Suzanne, thank you again, honey. Hi, Denisa. Hi, Corabelle. Great to see you. Hi, Maima Jamila. Great to see you. Lulu, glad you're in the house tonight. Hi, Victoria Knox. Good evening, darling. Hey, Atala. Natalie D, thank you again, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you again so much, Crystal Suzanne, for your beautiful donations. San Juanita, thank you also. And again, welcome, Dawn. Crystal Suzanne gifted you a membership. So thank you so much for being here. So in the membership corner on Mondays, just so you know, I put out a special members only video. And usually I put out a members only short as well. And then in that members only video, at the end of it, I randomly choose one of the members to do a card pull for. So just so that you know, don't miss out on Monday. Okay, hon? Hi, Empress. Excuse me, the Empress. Atar Axia, great to catch you. Hi, Lolly. Hi, Roxanne. Oh, thank you. Shout out to you on the Oregon coast. Hawaii girl. I hear you. Ethel Rose. Hi, honey. Hi, Diana. Deborah, great to catch you. Hey, RT. Leslie, thank you for being here. Kimmy, thank you. I didn't even see you there. I'm sorry, I was so immersed in the story. Danae Mountain Dreamer, thank you, honey. Thank you so much. You guys are so generous. Good morning, Angel. Hey, Sierra Clark. Wonderful to see you. I agree. Crystal Suzanne, yes, humans have emotions. Yes. Felicia, hey. Rachel McSlaro, thank you, honey. Thank you so much. Thank you. May you always feel seen. You're a beautiful soul. Absolute Organics, great to see you. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Demi's Accord, hi. Hi, Christy. Denise, thank you for accepting my sassiness sometimes. I was like, I need popcorn on this one. Kung Fu Panda. Hey, darling. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Really great to see you. Mirabuka. Hi, honey. Glad you made it to a live also. EM's in the house. Hi. I didn't see you there earlier. Brelay. Hey. Victoria. I love your little the emojis that are like the opposite. That's awesome. I haven't seen those where it's like the outline. I've never seen that before. Roxanne, Roxanne, you're hilarious. Roxanne says she thinks I'm sweet even when I get angry at the characters. I feel like this is me, like if I'm watching a movie too. Let me tell you, I'll be like, oh no, no, I'm not. I don't. That better change. That better change. You know, if I'm gonna like this character, that better change. I got all into my stories. Hey, Chrissy. Bruce Reed, great to see you. Very nice. Very nice. Hi, Neandry. Hugs to the mermaid. Yeah, I know. I think we're all like cheering for our mermaid, aren't we? That it was definitely a story that I think if I were watching a movie, I would definitely be like rooting for a character. Brittany Fliss. Thank you, Ed. It is my pleasure, Rachel. Thank you for being here. Lots of love to you also. Beautiful. Beautiful Aries. Is a great name. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful night. Oh, Monty, I'm not pulling cards. I only, if I do that, I post it and I'll always let you guys know. But I'm not pulling cards for anybody. It'll always say that in the title. I only do that on special occasions on my channels, and it always will say it right in the description box and in the subject header. So this is, you know, a love tarot, but I'm not accepting any, and I never take questions. Just so you know, anytime I do card pulls and free storytellings on my channel, it's kind of a special occasion, like I say, but it also I don't take questions because I'm not a psychic. I don't do predictions. I'm just a storyteller. So that's the way that I chose to like change my channel around. So yeah, this is just storytelling, but thank you so much. All right, you guys, take care. Everybody have a wonderful night. Bye for now.